Hello, Iona College. Welcome back to the Sports Vault. Jersey Joe and Big Shot Rob here. And the next step to talk about is obviously this past week has been dominated by the Donald Sterling comments and others, but we need to address them and talk about them. Now, luckily everyone has pretty much shared the opinion that they agree with Commissioner Adam Silver's ruling on the matter that he needs to be kicked out of the NBA. I completely agree. There's no place for that kind of thought and that kind of actions. And I've heard some people say, well, he was kind of pushed into that talk, but it doesn't matter if he was pushed into it or not. You can't say things like that. There's no place for that in the National Basketball Association, and you just have to be smarter than it. And overall, I think that the commissioner showed very good leadership through this matter, and I think overall Donald Sterling has been an embarrassment to the NBA way before this situation. The Clippers have been one of the worst franchises since he bought the team. I mean, until they got Blake Griffin and Chris Paul and things started to get stabilized these last 3 years, the Clippers are probably the worst franchise, one of the worst run franchises in pro sports in the United States. And I think Donald Sterling, the NBA's probably been trying to get this guy out for years, and now they have the justification to get him out. And this guy is just an embarrassment to pro sports. He's an embarrassment as a human being for having those opinions, and I'm very hopeful that he will leave the NBA.
Yeah, Joe, this was very disturbing what he did to the whole NBA. Adam Silver did the right thing he had to do. You know what? He needed to ban him. I can't believe Sterling would come out and say statements like this. Really offensive to the whole league in general, to people in general. I can't believe this man won an achievement award back in '09.
Yeah.
It's really sick, but Adam Silver had to do what he had to do. You know what? Sterling reflects on the league's image, and when you have somebody who ruins your image, you have to do that. And then when you have 3 games the other day where players are going to boycott, it's just crazy, man. Then you have the Clippers team. Doc Rivers doesn't know if he wants to come back. Players don't know if they want to come back. He had to do what he had to do. And Sterling, you know what? It's good that he's out of the NBA. They need to bring in somebody brand new. I know Sterling's wife wants to get control.
No.
But you have to bring in somebody new.
I mean, that's the thing, too, is we've gotten a lot more information about Donald Sterling's wife as well throughout this process, and it seems like she shares common beliefs that he does. I think you need to get as far away from anybody associated with Donald Sterling as possible. This organization needs a new face. I mean, Magic Johnson has come up time and time again, and he said the other day, I believe, something about wanting to own an NBA team, that he would someday. There's been some people who have been against that idea, but I would have no problem, I think, with Magic Johnson if he took ownership of the Clippers. What would you?
I wouldn't have a problem. I like what he's done with the Dodgers. You know, when he came back with his group to go to the Dodgers a couple years back, he's done such a great job, signed so many big free agents. And Magic Johnson he's just a great NBA player when he played, and he's somebody that would be great for running a team.
Absolutely, I like it a lot. The only thing, Magic Johnson was in the news a lot this week, and again yesterday when Coach Mike D'Antoni resigned from the Los Angeles Lakers, and I think overall D'Antoni had a tough time there. I mean, look, he didn't have a lot to work with. This last Laker team was one of the worst rosters that they fielded in a long, long time, and I think D'Antoni was kind of the fall guy. He wanted his option picked up for 15 and 16. They wouldn't do it, and he knew he was going to be the lame duck guy who was going to kind of be that transition man, and I think D'Antoni, he did the best he could with what he had. They didn't have anything. That was the problem.
The Lakers, Joe, with Mike D'Antoni will not win. Now I'm just going to say one word. Defense.
Yeah,
defense. I don't understand it. Mike D'Antoni has not learned in his offensive system is unbelievable. It's an offensive system that could average about 110 points a game. However, since he doesn't want to teach defense, I don't understand why he doesn't teach it in the first place. He's going to be beaten where he's giving up 130 points in games, and that's one of D'Antoni's problems. Don't get me wrong, he didn't have a roster to play with this year. It was like playing with a college
That's
team.
why I give him a pass for this year, because this roster is just not competitive at all.
Yeah, definitely. These guys, this was a team that you could have thought maybe average about 10 wins, I would have thought, with how bad they are, especially with Kobe out the whole year. You know what? For him, though, I would stay out of the NBA for now, see what you could get in the next couple years. But you got to find a way to incorporate a defensive skill because how many great teams has he had, Joe? He had that Suns team that was on fire all those years. And what's one reason Steve Nash and them can never win? Because they didn't have defense. That's one reason.
Well, here's the thing. There were some rumors that if Mark Jackson was fired from Golden State, which there's been some rumors of that if they don't beat the Clippers this postseason. I don't think you can now. Even if Golden State loses, I still don't think that their owner would have justification to fire him to the fans because this has been a competitive series. It's going to be a tough Game 7. I don't think you can. But if he did, Golden State as it is an exact D'Antoni replica. Extremely talented, high-powered offensive team. They don't play very good defense. If he went there, I think it would just be a blueprint of what is happening there now. Hopefully Mark Jackson can continue to implement and improve the defense of the Warriors, but I think Mark Jackson is the guy there for the Warriors.
I don't even know why the Warriors even want to fire Jackson.
I think it's their owner. I just don't think that he's ever been wild about Jackson. The comments he's made sometimes, I just don't know if that's really his guy.
I understand that, but it's like he hasn't done anything wrong.
No, he hasn't.
When he first inherited that team wasn't so great.
No.
You put all those free agents together, and Mark Jackson has them in a winning formula, and I don't know what he expects out of them. Did he really expect by signing Andre Iguodala to win a championship?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Andre Iguodala is not a top free agent that everybody thought he was when they signed him. They let go of so many guys in the offseason by signing Andre Iguodala that killed them. But Golden State, I'm sorry, they're not a championship team, and their owner has to understand that. I don't know what's in his mindset. Jackson's a great coach, and you know what? If the Knicks were able to get him, I would totally agree with them. But you know what? We're going to get Kerr, though. I'm sorry.
Well, here's the thing. That's transitioning. Staying with the Lakers thing, they have a lot of options. There's been some rumors that they are interested in Kevin Ollie after the big year at UConn winning the championship. John Calipari's name always comes up. And now Steve Kerr. Now, Steve Kerr, obviously, his name has been linked very closely to the Knicks job. But if you're Steve Kerr right now, would you be interested in that Lakers job, right? If I was Steve Kerr, even despite the talent with the Lakers, I think I would take the Lakers job over the Knicks job. I mean, you've got a good pick in the draft coming up. You've still got Kobe, who's got maybe a year or two left in his prime. But I think Steve Kerr's a smart guy. He's not going to want to deal with James Dolan. The thing with James Dolan, he's never had a head coach who's been a strong guy. He's always had a quiet guy who he could control, like Mike Woodson, D'Antoni before that. And I think Kerr's a smart guy. I don't think he's going to want to play into Dolan's hand. And I think if you're Kerr and you want an organization that's going to surround you with everything you need, even though there's some dysfunction in the Lakers front office, I just don't see why you would want to go to James Dolan's dysfunctional organization.
Yeah, I mean, James Dolan, yes, Joe, he doesn't give control, but the Knicks need a coach like him, Steve Kerr. If I was him, I would take the job immediately. I think he has a better chance of winning. That's all I'm going to say with the Knicks over the Lakers right now.
Well, right now, I agree.
But with the Lakers, though, the reason why he would go there anyway, he says he loves the West Coast, Steve Kerr. And you know what? What not a better time than Mike D'Antoni gets fired, the Knicks are trying to get Kerr, and the West Coast job opens up like that. And you know what? Just perfect timing for Kerr. I mean, I hope he comes to the Knicks, though. Phil Jackson's going to help him out, and he's going to make sure Dolan doesn't boss him around.
I do, too. There's some people who haven't been 100% on board with Kerr, but I think Kerr would do a really good job. I really look at the Jeff Hornacek signing last year of Houston. They brought him in. He was an incredibly talented, smart player, did a really good job his first year. I think Steve Kerr would do a really good job. He's been an analyst for a long time now, so he's stayed with the game. He knows the game very well. He's a smart player. I think Steve Kerr is going to be a nice head coach. The other thing with the Lakers that there were some rumors about was their interest in Tom Thibodeau. Who wouldn't be interested in Tom Thibodeau? The guy gets more out of his teams than anybody else in the NBA. I think Tom Thibodeau right now, he's one of my favorite coaches. I think he's one of the top 3 in the NBA. but there was rumors that the Lakers would pursue him. And look, the thing that I take beef with the Bulls ownership is you have such a good head coach. This guy gets everything out of every player he can. Makes guys like Heinrich phenomenally talented players. He gets every juice of talent out of these guys. And the Bulls ownership has just been cheap. They haven't been willing to spend money. You just look at the Luol Deng situation. They gave Luol Deng away for nothing. For nothing. A couple years ago, they let Omar Sheik walk. They let Kyle Korver walk. The Bulls ownership, I just don't feel is committed to spending money and putting a consistent winner together. If they still had some of those pieces on that team with Derrick Rose that they were starting to build, they would just be unbelievable right now. And it's tough for Tom Thibodeau. And I think if you're Thibodeau, you've got to look at the ownership right now for the Bulls and say, are they committed to winning? And if you don't think that's true, you've got to go somewhere else that will put the money forth that will be necessary.
Yeah, Tom Thibodeau, Joe, excellent coach. Makes anybody good. One of the best defensive coaches in the NBA, hands down. Derrick Rose lost the past 2 seasons, brought the Bulls to the playoffs. Immaculate job. But, as you said, the Bulls don't do anything to get better.
No.
They don't do anything to get better. And you know what? If I were him, it's time to jolt to L.A. Go over there, teach what you've been teaching. Because you know what? You have somebody like Kobe Bryant who wants a championship, who's at that old age right now, and he just wants to keep winning. You know what? The Lakers organization, that's a highlight of an organization, a winning one of legend in winning all these years. Chicago Bulls, where have they been since Jordan? Not champions. And to let a coach like this go, despicable. And it just aggravates me because Tom Thibodeau is one of the guys I look up to my whole life because he just amazes me. A guy who has nobody really on his rosters and does so much. Let go of Luol Deng. Just improves. Makes Taj Gibson into a 6th man of the year this year. Kirk Heinrich used to play for him, then gets traded away, comes back, has him playing better than what he once was. And you know what? Thibodeau has just done a great job, and the Bulls are just making a mistake in their organization by letting him go if they do.
Good points. I mean, I think it's fair because I was talking with my dad about this the other day, and he was telling me, I mean, even when Jordan was in his prime there was always still little problems with the Bulls' ownership and spending. And look, I say it all the time. If you own any franchise, you can't be cheap. You have to be committed to winning. I mean, if you don't want to do that, then sell the team. Sell the team to somebody who will. It's not fair to the fans out there when you're making cheap moves like this. You can't let pieces like a Sheik and Korver go when you're putting together such a nice team. And if I'm Thibodeau, look, the Lakers have been down the last 2 years, but you know that when they have that cap space open up, they're going to go on an extravaganza. The Lakers are like the Yankees. The Yankees had a disappointing year last year. What do they do this offseason? They go out there and they get Tanaka. They go out there, they get McCann, they get Beltran, they get Ellsbury. They bring out the bank. They roll the red carpet down for all these guys. And you don't think the Lakers are going to do that? Now, it's one thing if they get a guy like Carmelo, but the Lakers are going to do everything that they have to. They're probably going to go after Carmelo. They're going to do whatever it takes to get a guy like Kevin Love. That's what you've got to go look at a team like the Lakers, who are the Yankees of the NBA. They're going to do whatever it takes. They're going to spend all the money to put together another winning team, and that's why the Lakers are what they are. That's why they've won so many championships, is because, like the Yankees, they're always committed to winning. They're going to do whatever it takes.
Yeah, most definitely, Joe. When I look at the Lakers team, Magic Johnson comes in my head. Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Kobe Bryant, Shaq, Derek Fisher, all guys who know what to do to win a championship. And that's what LA is about. LA spends money, and that's what sports have become in general. It's about who's going to spend the money to win. And the Bulls don't want to spend it. So you know what? If I was Thibodeau, go to a team like LA, I give it 2 years. You're going to have a rebuilt lineup, and you're going far in the Western Conference.
That was a great discussion right there. Before we end it off, I just want to talk about, we're very excited. Unfortunately, the NFL draft has been pushed back, so this time last year we would have been doing the next day, all the evaluations, and it's just a lot of fun. But next Friday, we will be doing our show centered around the NFL draft. It's going to be a very, very exciting draft. I think a lot of the times we have a really good idea of who the first couple picks are going to be. By now, we pretty much always know who that number one pick is going to be. But I mean, this year's draft, I think we have no idea. I mean, are the Texans going to trade the pick? Are they going to take Manziel? Are they going to take Clowney? Is Atlanta going to trade up to get Clowney? I mean, there's so many things that could happen in this draft. It's just incredible. And I think it's going to make for a very exciting draft. But, Rob, what is the one player? Each year, I kind of have a player who I look at, who I really liked in his college career, and that's kind of my guy for his career in the NFL. Who's the guy that you really are looking forward to in the NFL?
Evans from Texas A&M.
I have the same one. I have the same one.
My Jets better trade up and get this guy right now. He is one of the best wide receivers in the game. Don't get me wrong, Sammy Watkins out. Clemson's going to great in the NFL too. But Evans has been so impressive on his pro days. And this guy has great hands, very fast speed down the field, and definitely a guy to look out for.
Definitely. I'll say it on the show. If anybody's going to be the next Calvin Johnson in the NFL in the next couple of years, you watch, and it's going to be Mike Evans. Great size, big hands, goes up and catches the football. This guy is just an athletic specimen. He's going to be a phenomenal player, and I hope that he falls to the Detroit Lions with the 10th pick. I'm hoping, Rob. I'm sorry for your Jets. But if he falls to the Lions, I'm going to be a very, very happy man because you pair him with Calvin Johnson, you've got a deadly combination. That is going to do it for the Sports Vault. Our last show of the year will be next Friday. We're going to tell you everything that you need to know with the NFL draft. It's going to be a really fun show. Looking forward to doing it, and thank you for tuning in. Everybody enjoy the great games this weekend.